What are some of the calculations now that need to be made? And I know that each state is different. As I welcome you to the program, is there an overarching thing that the president would look at?
I think what you just said is the key thing. States aren't the same. Some are densely populated, New York, New Jersey. Those states are maybe needing to be closed longer. But if you're in Wyoming, if you're in Montana, if you're in other parts of rural America, there may not be a reason for you to be holed up at home like a hermit right now. And that decision is best made closer to the people who are being affected by it. And that's why I think the president would be very wise to make this decision leave the decision in the hands of the governors, the mayors, and the people who are closest to their populations. Some have overreacted, Harris. Some have been heavy-handed, and some of it is illogical and irrational. And I think they're going to pay the price for having usurped people's basic liberties. And we can talk about that, but this is a ramping up of the economy again. It won't happen with the flip of a switch. It will happen with sort of an entrance ramp, if you will, to the freeway.
You know, I have a follow-up to that, though. I'm going to point out South Dakota and the governor there. And you say some have been overreacting or heavy-handed. Certainly that's the case. I mean, you see people protesting now. Look at Michigan, where they feel like some of the rules were just arbitrary. But when you look at the popping of the case numbers now and the problems that they're having with COVID-19 in a place like South Dakota that hadn't been a hotspot, that hadn't seen those things, and the governor had taken a different way. The medical professionals, though, have said it can happen any place and that it likely will. So what do you do with that?
It certainly can happen any place, and I think this is where the basic protocols of hand washing, social distancing, not doing the traditional handshake, there's some things that still can be done. But we cannot wait until the very last case of COVID-19 is eradicated before there is some level of economic activity in this country. There won't be a country to come back to. That's the calculated risk, and it's one that has to be taken. That sounds rather audacious, but Harris, I mean, we cannot hole up in our homes for 18 months. The economy won't handle it, and I'm not kidding. There will be nothing to come back to. Small business owners will not have a business. People who work there won't have jobs. And the good old government can't just keep shelling out trillions of dollars indefinitely. There's got to be a point at which we get back to work, we take precautions, and if there does come another hot spot or let's say a significant outburst, then you deal with it, but you deal with it at that place and at that time. You don't make a blanket, one-size-fits-all, 50-state shutdown of the entire country.